Greetings, everybody. This is the first of a series of videos where I'm going to be reading my paper, which is titled Mass Child Maltreatment and the Future of Industrial Democracy. This paper, I hope it will be enlightening to you on how we got here and what we're going to need to be able to do, the sacrifices that we're going to need to make in order to ever be able to have peace and stability and prosperity again in this country, to even be able to preserve democracy, which is fragile, as we've just seen. I hope it's enlightening to all of you. I'm going to be releasing one of these videos every Saturday after my news video for the week, unless I explicitly state otherwise on my channel. I hope it's enlightening, and let's get into it. Mass Child Maltreatment and the Future of Industrial Democracy. Introduction. In April 2018, the President, Donald Trump, unveiled a punitive policy which separated families at the U.S.-Mexico border. This was widely criticized by the existing critics of his administration as an unacceptable and lawless atrocity, as it was. The president's supporters, such as Steven Crowder, then claimed that similar experiences are common among U.S. citizens and that the Democratic Party has not been willing to take action to prevent them. This paper is not a defense of any of Donald Trump's policies, in case you need to know that. Indeed, this paper will repeatedly criticize his administrations, both as a dangerous outgrowth of the phenomenon of mass child neglect and as an administration that turns a blind eye towards it, despite the unique self-declared responsibility it has to diagnose the unacknowledged and unspoken problems of this country and heal them, telegraphed in its campaign slogan. This will be a far-reaching paper. We are now between the 61st and 66th year of the sexual experiment, depending on when you would consider it to have begun. Its effects have had a long time to work their way through all of our institutions. They have been mostly unnoticed. In light of the results of the 2024 presidential election, where a plurality of the electorate voted for a candidate they knew to be a denier of global warming and hold dictatorial ambitions, with many more simply not voting, this social decay has become impossible to ignore. If politicians had internalized these lessons 3.5 years ago, in the aftermath of January 6th, we would probably not be in this situation today. Context. During the period from 1988 to 2011, the proportion of college students with insecure attachment styles, which is a key sign of child abuse, neglect, and abandonment, rose by about 10 points from 50%. These students, assuming an average age of 20 plus or minus 2 years, were born between about 1966 and 1993. This was according to a 2014 study published in the Personality and Social Psychology Review. Despite a noticeable drop in the period from 1993 to 2004, born circa 1971 to 1986, the overall trend in the earlier and later periods has been rising rates of insecure attachment styles, usually in excess of 4 points per decade. This is a strong indicator that the rates of abuse, neglect, and abandonment, the main forms of man-made childhood trauma, during the periods between 1966 and 1993 have risen sharply, and this rise has effects in the population. A newer study from the same year pins the number at the general population by 2014 at almost 70%. And given the reasons that we're going to get into for why this happened, it is not likely that those numbers have dropped in the years since below 69%. Abstract. The argument presented here is that at this scale, child neglect, abuse, and abandonment is unprecedented in the United States and in similar countries, and that it is not simply unjust, but a clear and present danger to the continued functioning economic vitality and environmental sustainability of the industrial world. Simultaneously, we argue that the effects of this trend were observable nearly from its beginning in the 1960s, were predictable, and therefore the primary reason why effective policy solutions have not been developed is because of the lack of political will among both parties to solve this problem. I'll see you again next week with more of this paper. Take care, God bless you, and have a great day. Bye.